Hello everyone, and today we are going to be reacting to The Secrets of Bittergiggle.
Should you be unfortunate enough to find yourself within the lower levels of Banban's kindergarten, you might find yourself facing a very strange sight. An underground kingdom lit by the colorful hues of the giant mushrooms that populate the area. Ruling over this kingdom is a giant kangaroo queen, protected and served by a few incredibly loyal residents. And among these residents is one that has gone through so many changes during development, and also perhaps one of Garten of Banban's most iconic characters.
Yeah?
The name of that resident is Blitzercup. Or at least that's what the game files may lead you to believe.
Oh.
No. The name of this resident is Bitter. Or at least that's what he was originally going to be called before his name was changed for one last time to... Drumroll, please! Bittergiggle! The Garten of Banban casts have their own detailed story and personality, and that's what makes Garten of Banban unique. Join me on the 4th episode of the Banban Chronicles, narrated by me, Ty Coker, the voice actor of the character that the episode revolves around, Bittergiggle. A series where we dedicate each episode to discussing the history and secrets of a member of the Garten of Banban cast.
Jumbo Josh next. I like this intro. We haven't put on the coals.
The ending of Garten of Banban 3 warns the player of a mysterious threat referred to as the Jester. And while not seen physically in the game, a collectible journal named the Smudged Poster depicts a strange figure never seen before in any of the games. Which, at the time, many correctly theorized is this jester that we are cautiously told not to let find us. This was the introduction to what would later become a major character in the franchise. This figure is tall and humanoid, but most strikingly, he was vertically split into two colors, purple and green. Which begs the question, is this always how Bittergiggle was intended to look like? The answer is no!
Yeah, of course.
And there's a big story behind the process that led to the creation of Bittergiggle. During the development of Garten of Banban 3, the Euphoric brothers felt that it would be a cool idea to add a character with two heads, with each head having a personality of its own. Quickly, they went to the drawing board, where many concepts would be created and discarded until the best one remained. This was done using the process of elimination. In the end, there remained three final potential concepts, which were a four-legged creature with a cat head and a dog head, a four-legged creature with a turtle head and a chameleon head, sound familiar? And a creature that didn't have two heads per se, but his body split into two different contrasting sides. The four-legged creature with a cat head and a dog head was the next to be eliminated, permanently banished to the dark realm of scrapped Banban concepts.
Oh no.
Wait, is that where Zolthius lives? This left one hard final decision to be made. Who gets the Banban hammer next? The turtle and the chameleon, or the two-sided freak that looks very much like a jester. If you've played the Garten of Banban games, you probably already know what the conclusion was. The final decision was to add both. One as a boss fight in Garten of Banban 3, and one as a major aspect to the kingdom that the player would visit in Garten of Banban 4, where they would officially be a jester. And just like that, the first two members of the Mutants family were created, forever bonded by the fact that originally only one of them was supposed to make the cut. We don't talk about Zolthius. But even though the two-sided jester as a concept was established, it still needed a remarkable color scheme. And it wasn't originally the green and purple we know Bittergiggle for today. Bittergiggle was originally going to be yellow on the smoother half that's now green, and light blue on the scruffy half that's now purple.
Yeah.
A color scheme that was recycled and applied to one of the experimental gestures in Garten of Banban 4.
Yeah, think noodles.
Speaking of the experimental gestures, they weren't originally called experimental gestures. They were originally called the hybrids, as can be seen on the file names of their voice lines.
Oh.
But this is far from the only bittergiggle-related content found in the game files that wasn't shared publicly. Did you know that as of Garten of Banban 0, bittergiggle by far and large has the highest amount of unused voice lines, spanning from his debut in Garten of Banban 4 all the way to Garten of Banban 0? This is, in part, thanks to the great amount of unused laughs that never made it into the games. Take a listen to a few of them.
That would be pretty cool. That's cool.
I remember back recording for Garten of Banban 4, I was workshopping the laugh, not 100% sure what the brothers wanted, so I gave them a huge variety of tones to pick from. Surprisingly, they ended up going with the higher-pitched laughs that are closer to how I laugh naturally, so that's fun. In terms of actual voice lines where words are spoken, bittergiggle doesn't fall short either. In Garten of Banban 6, bittergiggle has 2 unused voice lines. Take a listen.
Let's go! This is our only chance!
Let's do this! I'll fix the levers down here. You cover me from up there!
In Garten of Banban 7, during the rooftop chase sequence with the notified bittergiggle, he was originally meant to intermittently scream random jokes that make absolutely no sense. Take a listen.
What did the sheep say? What did you call a leaf? That's Jesus!
This had to be scrapped because it would have been difficult to listen to bittergiggle as you were running away from him. So instead, it was replaced entirely with crazed laughs. 2 of these crazed laughs also ended up being unused. Take a listen. And these are far from the only unused content related to bittergiggle. As with most other characters, bittergiggle too remains part of many unused scripts and sequences, once again spanning from Garten of Banban 4 all the way to Garten of Banban 0. During the climax of Garten of Banban 4, the player witnesses bittergiggle achieve his goal of making Queen Bouncelia laugh, but not before his massive pet Kittysaurus and a mutated little beak engage in an intense fight. This all takes place within the Queen's throne room. But what if I told you that this entire sequence was originally going to be very different from what it ended up being? Normally, the player gets trapped by bittergiggle, escapes, and returns to the kingdom to find Sheriff Toadster has been knocked out and that bittergiggle and Kittysaurus have infiltrated the throne room. And chaos ensues from there. In the original version of the script, the player would return to the kingdom after escaping bittergiggle's entrapment to find the entire kingdom in shambles. Glancing upwards, the player would see Sheriff Toadster and Little Beak hiding on an elevated platform, warning the player that bittergiggle and his army have made their way into the kingdom. This army that they mentioned would have consisted of both Kittysaurus and Kamataki and Tamataki, instead of just Kittysaurus as it is in the final version. Bittergiggle, Kittysaurus, and Kamataki and Tamataki would then notice the player, the Sheriff, and Little Beak, and Kamataki and Tamataki would shoot their projectiles at Little Beak, causing the poor bird to, once again, fall into the Givanium barrel. It would then emerge as the mutated Little Beak, and would engage in a similar fight with both Kamataki and Tamataki and Kittysaurus. The Queen would then exit her throne room to check out the loud noise, only for bittergiggle to climb on a higher platform, jump on her back, and scream his joke into her ear, causing her to laugh. You would then escape with Sheriff Toadster, leaving the chaos behind. This version of the script had to be altered because it felt too messy. Let us know in the comments below which version of the ending of Garten of Banban 4 you think was cooler. At a certain point in Garten of Banban 6, you are tasked with protecting bittergiggle from the naughty ones from a high platform, as he tries to fix the office door from a lower and darker part of the area. But what if I told you that this minigame was originally going to be completely different? The main thread of this sequence was originally not the naughty ones at all. Instead, it was a never-before-seen version of Sheriff Toadster, the naughtified Sheriff Toadster. From the safety of the upper, more lit area, you would control a light that would keep bittergiggle safe as long as he stays within it as he navigated below. Except, the naughtified sheriff would eagerly wait for bittergiggle to stray too far from the light and snatch him, and then snatch you. Before the mechanics of this minigame could be developed further, the Euphoric brothers agreed that keeping the sheriff's fate unknown following the kidnapping of Banbaleena would make for a better narrative point. It would also take away much of the Naughty One's screen time, which needed to be established as a serious threat in the dark. And thus, the sequence was altered to what it is today, protecting bittergiggle from hordes of giant leeches that despise the light. But what about scrapped sequences that are actually referenced in the game by bittergiggle but are never shown? Well, we have the first example of that in Garten of Banban 0, where while tied to his bed, bittergiggle mentions strong earthquakes that broke something in the room.
They left me here tied to the bed, and with all these earthquakes, something broke. The tranquilizer gas is leaking.
This line was in reference to a series of events that were scrapped from Garten of Banban 0, while every now and then a strong earthquake would shake everything and everyone, with characters commenting on it after it happens. These earthquakes were supposed to serve as foreshadowing for Ramamba, which would have been the source behind these earthquakes. However, since Ramamba was already contained in a cell, it would have been a little hard to believe that they can cause earthquakes that strong from that cell. So ultimately, the earthquakes were scrapped altogether, leaving behind this little reference as an homage to what could have been. I'm actually recording this episode before Garten of Banban 0 drops, so this is actually the first that I've learned that the earthquakes had to be cut. So that's exciting. But wait, bear with me while I feed this hungry snake. Stay tuned for the next episode of the Banban Chronicles, where the secrets and history of another character will be revealed. Comment down below which character you want to learn more about next, and keep on bandaning!
Jumbo Josh. Gotta go for my boy, Jumbo Josh.
For my pubic hair?
Yeah, that's it. Bye.